Sick and twisted. That is the reaction to Meghan Markle's video of herself driving through the streets of Paris, very, very close to where her mother-in-law died in a car accident. The one that she and her husband constantly cite as a danger to Meghan Markle. The one that Prince Harry obviously has a ton of trauma about. Meghan Markle is sitting there in a car, putting her feet up, congratulating herself on a job well done. And she's even today trying to walk back. But I'm sorry, Meghan. Unfortunately for you, you can't walk this back. And that is because Meghan Markle and her husband have made such a huge deal about Diana that you can't feign ignorance here. So we are going to get into all of this today. But if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany. I do provide compelling royal commentary, so please hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you back. And I did want to let you guys know, because I've gotten a lot of comments recently that people have really liked my eye makeup and those sorts of things, or my lipstick. And so I did actually get a couple of cool things when I was on a group trip to Nice just earlier last month. Late last month. So I did post a couple of the new things I got, including this cool new lipstick. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. I think it's from a brand called Your Lane. And if you pop it out right here, it actually has a mirror you can buy. So you actually buy these two pieces separate, but it's pretty cool because you can change it out. And no matter where you are at, you can always have a mirror for yourself. So I thought this was kind of cool. I know I had a couple people mention, oh my gosh, your eyes look so blue. Well, I did get some new eyeshadow as well, this stuff. So I just thought I'd link that for you. So if you guys are interested, there's a link down below if you want to check that out, because I was surprised too. Sometimes I buy things, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. But honestly, I'm like, this will be in my handbag all the time because it's so nice to have the mirror to go along with it. And tomorrow we will be having the Crown Report again. So sorry, guys. I think I've been out at least a week or two about that. I do apologize because of the traveling. I wasn't very good at communicating about it, but it'll be back tomorrow. And this is where we go over all the royal news that is sort of fit to print, that is not Harry and Meghan generally. So if you guys want to see what all the other royals are doing, like Queen Mary, Queen Maxima, we also have Prince William and King Charles and Queen Camilla, all these wonderful, lovely, and amazing working royals who put their country before themselves. Hang out with us at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And we usually go for about an hour, hour and a half. So can't wait for you to join us. But let's get into this video. And I'm not surprised that the reaction has been so bad. And I think genuinely it caught Meghan a little off guard in some ways because she doesn't think very well. Like, Harry and Meghan strike me as probably some of the most obnoxious clients that any PR person can have, because they constantly shoot themselves in the foot and then are looking at their team going, well, why did that happen? I don't understand. It's very easy to explain when you actually think about it broadly and what is going on in this instance. So let's take a look, of course, again at the video. There's not really a lot of sound there. It's more of just ambient sound, but go ahead and take a watch. So number one, this video was kind of dumb because you can't really see anything. Like, I don't know if her camera was bad or something, because sometimes your camera gets smudged in the back and you can't get very good video, but it wasn't even good video. But the real thing that came about, of course, is that people noticed, hey, you're very, very close to the tunnel where Princess Diana died. And then you're showing yourself in a car, putting your feet up on the seat as if to say, I've done an amazingly good job. We've had an amazingly successful Paris trip. And it struck people as immediately wrong. And I actually picked up on this before the video came out. Because if you watch my video on Megan Zoolander, because she, of course, looked like Zoolander, and her trying so hard to strut and smirk and do all like these pouty model things, it just sort of looked ridiculous. But what struck me was that as she was coming out of the hotel, I mean, I immediately thought, I was like, is she at the Ritz? Because that would fit Meghan to want to be at one of the most expensive hotels in the city, and also a place where Diana used to stay. And of course, Diana left the Ritz and got into the car, and that's how the car accident happened. And so I did figure out that it probably was not the Ritz, but I just also was like, this just echoes of something really distasteful. And I can't help but think of Harry in this instance because the dude carries a lot of trauma, let's be honest. He is wildly traumatized by everything in his life, especially his mother's death. His mother wound is how even Meghan Markle got her hooks into him in the first place because allegedly she wore his mother's perfume on their first date. And if you watch their series or any of their discussions, anything like that, they're constantly making a reference to Diana, particularly in reaction to Meghan. They say, oh, the royal family was so jealous of Meghan because she's like Diana, she's dominating the headlines. Oh, we were in New York and we were chased. Oh, just like Diana. They've used that so much that anytime there's some sort of echo of Diana, it's just utterly impossible to ignore. And that's really the crux of this situation here. Because Meghan Markle seems to want to play ignorance in this situation, at least according to Newsweek a bit and sources going, well, like what happened? We might get an actual statement from their PR people just blaming the press for all this, but this is not the press's fault. So let's read what Newsweek has to say. And I know some people don't like Jack Royston. He does good reporting, so I think sometimes some things become overwrought. But let's look at what he has to say. So it says here, a Sussex source told Newsweek Meghan did not know the underpass was nearby and pointed to the role the British tabloids played in Diana's death. Honey, it was French tabloids. It was the French paparazzi who were chasing her, let's be honest. And Diana played into the press. This is the thing that when it comes to Diana, she played the press and the press played her, and they were in a relationship together doing that. This was not a woman in some ways who didn't engage with the press. This is why William and Catherine don't engage with the press because William knew that what Diana would do is she wanted the press to, let's say, angle herself a bit better for one instance. But then they wouldn't leave because once you start engaging with the press all the time, they just want more and more and more and more. And Meghan just, and Harry, of course, as well, just don't seem to understand that and fail to acknowledge that they play a huge, prominent role in this disaster. Because when you play with the press, when you engage with the press, they're not going to go away. They're just going to get worse. And you can't blame the press here. This was Meghan, and this was dumb, and this was a dumb mistake made by Meghan Markle. As the princess's car was followed by paparazzi photographers, again, that's referencing Diana, it says, quote, the Daily Mail throwing out a line about insensitivity is a bit rich, says the woman who went on Oprah Winfrey and called the entire royal family racist. They have chosen, at a complete stretch, I might add, to draw the most tenuous link between an Instagram post and the death of Harry's mother. That, for me, is the insensitive bit. This poor source, their mind and their hearts are so crushed by the Daily Mail. I'm so sorry. Nobody is at fault here but Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Why these comparisons exist is because those two play into them. You can't feign ignorance. You can't feign frustration when you're the one who plays the Diana card constantly. We look for the patterns because you tell us to. You have told us to look for these patterns and comparisons between the life of Meghan Markle and Princess Diana. And then you complain when we do and you don't want us to. You cannot do that. You're the one who started this train. Now the train can't leave the tracks. Or the train deviates in a way and it's like, oh, well, I thought I pulled the lever this way so the train goes to the left instead of to the right. No, you can't do that. The cards have been set. The die has been cast. You started this. You cannot complain now when sometimes the comparisons are made in an event that you don't want them to. But also the interesting question becomes, did Meghan Markle know that was what she was doing? It's hard to argue that she didn't know. And the reason is again, the Diana obsession. You can't tell me this woman who is not obsessed with Diana didn't know exactly where she died. And if she didn't know, then she's also like, I would argue the whole thing then looks incredibly stupid. I mean, it was incredibly dumb video anyways. It didn't add anything of substance. And so I think she knew exactly what she was doing. And because she plays to Prince Harry's insecurities about his mother and her death, why do you think this woman, when she was heavily pregnant, went to Harry and goes, "Oh, Harry, I'm just feeling so emotional right now. I want to dot dot dot." And Harry, of course, around the same time that his mother experienced that with her first pregnancy, freaks out. And I don't believe a word of it. I'm with Piers Morgan. I don't believe a word this woman ever spews, pretty much. And Harry's just the deluded guy who goes along with it. So, because of that, it's hard to imagine that Meghan Markle is not twisting the knife into Harry a little bit there. It's hard. And if she isn't, let's say she is ignorant for the sake of argument, then she's a really crappy wife for not realizing where this dude's mother died, famously died. Like, it's just so sick and twisted and just so ugly and so many things. And again, Meghan Markle cannot blame the media for this. She cannot blame the public for this. She is the one who created this scenario for herself through her various actions. I didn't do this. Nobody else did this but Meghan Markle. And that's the challenge I think Meghan is having right now, and what she doesn't totally understand, which is that when you have this big public profile and when you've spewed all these different narratives, you can't complain when one of them comes back to bite you on the butt time and time again. It's because of you. All of this is self-inflicted. Why don't we think this ever about Catherine, really? Because she doesn't talk about Diana. It's not even her place to. She doesn't walk over there and compare herself to Princess Diana all the time. She doesn't. And so if she does something that's sort of, let's say, an echo of Diana, like I think there's some instances where maybe she played a little bit into the history of Diana, particularly with what she wore when she walked out of the hospital after her children were born. But it's very subtle. And I think because Catherine has never, ever, ever compared herself to Princess Diana, talked about Princess Diana and go, "Oh, I'm living the Princess Diana life," or whatever. People don't really make the comparison in the same way. It's the jabbering Harry and Meghan do all the time that results in things like this. And because of the intense media scrutiny on Meghan always, she can't get away with a lot of stuff that she probably could, again, if she was a no-name actress and nobody gave a crap. But when you have the global media spotlight on you and you make consistently stupid mistakes, you will result in consistently negative headlines. This was avoidable. This was an entirely avoidable situation. Meghan should have had forethought. I mean, maybe again, I think she sort of was trying to twist the knife into Harry, going, "Oh, look, I'm safe," or whatever, but your poor mother is dead. I mean, I don't know. It's sick and twisted. Let's be honest. It's so weird. But again, when you have this level of fame and infamy, everything you do is going to be microscopically examined. And this is why Meghan Markle is so struggling to right the ship, because she does insanely stupid things and I think doesn't know they're so incredibly bad. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of this video. I was thinking about doing it for another video and I might do it there too, but it's a piece from a show called Veep, and it's one of the characters having an absolute meltdown because their boss basically can't ever make the right decision. And I feel like Meghan and Harry's PR people, they are right there with Amy. So go ahead and listen to a little bit of this here.
You have made it impossible to do this job. You have two settings: no decision and bad decision. I wouldn't let you run a bath without having the Coast Guard and the fire department standing by. You are the worst thing that has happened to this country since food in buckets and maybe slavery.
So it's a really funny bit. I've always really liked it. I even shared it with some of the people who came on our recent trip to the south of France, and they thought it was hysterical too. And this is what I think is happening with Harry and Meghan's PR team. Right now, because Harry and Meghan's public relations are so incredibly bad, their reputations are so incredibly bad, nothing at all should not go through their PR team. Nothing. Nothing. They should not be posting anything. They should not be talking. They should not be doing anything without the direct approval of their PR people. And they should actually go through decent media training. Harry is a horrible interview. He's a terrible interview. He does things that you shouldn't do in interviews if you are the interviewee. And I think the part of the problem is Harry and Meghan can't be told no by their team. And so they go out and they look stupid. And then their poor PR staff has to clean up the mess. But of course, also their poor PR staff. I mean, how sorry can you feel for them? Because they took this job knowing the insanity they would have to deal with and knowing how difficult their charges are. Because again, this is a self inflicted injury. Meghan Markle could have done a multitude of things differently. She could have even chosen a different designer, not gone with Balenciaga, but I don't think anybody else is biting. Everything about that industry, the fashion industry, Hollywood, everybody's grifting off each other. Meghan Markle and Marcus Anderson, no exception. They're all grifting. Let's be honest. There's no real friendships there. I feel like a real friend would have told her, maybe not post that, or maybe think of something else to post. But Meghan Markle is truly out of the social media game. There's a reason why the woman, despite being very famous, can barely scratch 4 million, a little over 4 million followers. And that's because nobody likes her. Half her following is hate following. She has, I think, in some ways, very little engagement, and she does incredibly stupid things. And things could be better. Meghan makes that impossible because she can't help herself. She wants to manipulate her husband to keep him around. That's, I mean, the part of the reason why is just simply to keep Harry further engaged with her. I can never, ever imagine Catherine doing that. Never, ever. Not even really any other royal person. Because it's just Meghan. She's just kind of sick and twisted, I think. It's just my personal opinion. I mean, most of this video is in some ways, but I think Meghan made a horrifically awful mistake. And her triumphant introduction to Paris Fashion Week was, of course, blundered by awkwardness, an imperial march, the connection to Balenciaga itself, and its horrible use of children in ads that had BDSM undertones. And of course, itself, the video going by the tunnel where Diana died. Meghan Markle, once again, as ever, is a complete self-imposed disaster. And if she could actually listen to her PR team, she might eke out a bit of success. But again, as ever, Meghan always prefers defeat, I guess, over victory. So guys, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I shall speak to you again very soon. Bye.